It's the starting five. He's Coach Nick. I'm Ben. Glad to have you along with us today. And figured, Coach, with LeBron dropping 61 or so points, I figured today might be a good day to go ahead and host the show.
That's a good idea. Shameless plug. You can check out our breakdown of the game we just did late last night. It was a pretty impressive performance.
So let's talk LeBron. At 61 points, he breaks Glenn Rice's scoring record from, I believe, back in the 90s. 5 assists, 7 rebounds. He's 22 of 23 from the floor. Just absurd numbers. And to go along with the fact that he made his first 8 3-pointers. Kurt Heelan, our guy from Pro Basketball Talk, pointed out that now in the 3 games that he's wearing the mask, he's shooting 67%. Some people are saying that right now that game was his most dominant performance. I don't think so. I think you can take a look at that game and say that was terrific. Really, really impressive line from LeBron, especially with the first 8 3-pointers. But do you consider his first 60-point game to be his most dominant performance?
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's got to be a close game. When he's going to dominate, it's got to really mean something. And it's really easy to shoot threes when your team is up by like 15 points and whatever.
Right.
Those are not pressure-packed shots. It's impressive, like you said, but again, not really dominating like we've seen in the past in other games.
Yeah, I think the most dominant game for him still goes back to 2007 in Game 5 against the Pistons when he scored his team's final 25 points and then 29 of their last 30 points. And this is also funny because Al Jefferson had a really, really good game, too, for Charlotte. He had 38 points, 19 boards, shot 18 of 24 from the court. But, again, with LeBron, what amazes me the most about him, and Charles Barkley was talking about this on ESPN's Mike and Mike today, is that if he starts making those threes, how are you supposed to guard this guy? It's already impossible because of his ability to go to the lane. But if he's making 8 of 8 to start the game from three-point line, you can't guard him. He's literally unguardable.
Well, no doubt that was Coach Clifford's goal, was to make him shoot from the outside, but you need to vary it and mix it up. You need to take a hard foul, body him up, and get him out of his rhythm. There are things that you can at least try. But I mean, listen, I agree, it's almost impossible, but there are things that you can try to do to disrupt that kind of rhythm if that's your game plan. It kind of felt like they want to let him get his and shut everybody else down, but that didn't work at all either.
No, really didn't. And it leads to our second topic here on the starting five about the MVP race. And I saw an article that this game officially enters LeBron James back in the MVP race. And my sort of thoughts on that are, really? We knew it was going to be a 2-person race between LeBron and Durant. But to me, one 60-point performance against the Bobcats doesn't turn the tide here.
Well, I'm on record as saying he was in that MVP race about 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago when he really started.
I think I was too on this show.
Yeah, and so I think it was Portland that he hit like 2 threes in the last minute and literally just has been doing that recently and often in a way that he made a decision to now assert his dominance and remind everybody that he really is the best player in the league.
I looked at some of the numbers here, and listen, LeBron's efficiency is just stupid good right now, okay? His true shooting percentage is around 66.2%, and he's clear and away the best defender in the NBA. I don't think either of us are going to disagree on that. But when you take a look at Durant throughout the course of the season, yes, he hasn't had Westbrook there, but he has a higher player efficiency rating, a higher estimated wins added score by nearly 2 games over LeBron. And this is what stood out to me, Coach. His value added score of 675, if you're looking at the Hollinger stats, is 67 points higher than LeBron. So you factor some of those things in, and to me, at this point, Durant's the MVP, but it goes back to that bigger overlying conversation of what defines MVP. I know that LeBron James is the best player in the league, but this year, for now, Durant's been the most valuable.
That's the other question, is we don't know what MVP really is supposed to mean. I'll argue with you that I don't think that LeBron's the best defender in the league. I don't think he's doing it on a night in, night out basis. I think Paul George is the best defender in the league now from that kind of standpoint. He's been able to do that in the past, but I haven't seen it consistently from there. But then again, he's top 5, he's still awesome. And so the question here is he the most valuable to his team, and then his team being like one of the best teams in the league, and that makes him MVP, or is he the best player in the league for that year? I kind of gravitate towards best player in the league for that specific year. And, we've seen in the past, obviously Michael Jordan would win that generally every year he played. He didn't. So it's a real interesting fatigue issue. People don't want to vote for him or not, but I don't know. I think what LeBron's done recently has firmly put him in the lead in the MVP race.
That's another interesting debate. I think we could do a breakdown for some other show is between Paul George and LeBron James is how well that they've guarded each other when they've played each other and who's had the overall better defensive ratings. I'd love to find that out. Our third topic today here on the starting five, the man in the middle. I was taking a look at some of the newly signed guys. You have Big Baby Davis in Los Angeles now with the Clippers, Caron Butler with the Thunder, and especially with Thabo Sefolosha's injury, that's going to be an important role there. Jimmer Fredette goes to the Bulls, and Danny Granger also goes to the Clippers. Which of these newly signed players, Coach, do you think will have the biggest impact the final stretch of the season?
I think by far it's Big Baby. I think it's the one thing the Clippers were lacking, whereas, the other guys are complementary. Danny Granger kind of goes into a glut of players that are like him, and so I don't know if he's going to be able to rise above Barnes and Dudley and all those guys. They have a lot of guys. So I really, truly feel like what the Clippers were missing most was front court production. He doesn't have to be a huge guy coming in, 6'11" guy who can do the things. Someone that can grab some rebounds, someone who can score some points off the bench from the forward position, and that's exactly what they got.
He's my 1A, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, Ben, you're a Chicago fan, you're going to be a homer here. Fredette's not the best player on that list, but I think he'll have the biggest impact because the Bulls are in a desperate, desperate need for outside shooting. And Coach Thibodeau, all he does is revive careers from the dead. I mean, there's Marco Bellinelli, there's Nate Robinson, there's John Lucas III, DJ Augustine. Fredette's going to be used in the same way that they were really effective with Kyle Korver, running off those double screens, getting him set shots. I mean, he's not in college anymore where he could get away with creating his own shot. It's the NBA, and he's not going to defend well, but at least this will get him to defend maybe a little bit. So to be able to create any sort of outside scoring for the Bulls that are going to probably be that 3 or number 4 seed, they're going to find a way to make him effective. That's what Coach Thibodeau does really, really well.
Wow, you might have just kind of convinced me. I mean, I know that in Sacramento, they never ran those plays for him like that where he can get moving and running and screening. And the other question is he willing to do that because he's always gravitated toward having the ball and trying to create off the dribble and being that sort of lead guard. So I don't know if he's going to be able to handle that because if he could and he did, yeah, you're right. He would be Ray Allen-ish, or he would be that role, or Rip Hamilton, and he could help them. It would be an interesting discussion. I think that Big Baby helps them more and certainly quicker. But right now we'll have to find out if he's going to get off the bench and get some serious minutes.
Definitely quicker with Big Baby, and also the fact that you can add a little bit more front court depth, especially for that team. And that's a legitimate team that has a chance to win the NBA title. Chicago Bulls this year, not so much. Fourth topic today on the starting five. Mark Cuban always has something to say, and a couple interesting ideas that we wanted to get into today. He has a couple ideas on how to fix tanking, but his main point is that you can't really fix tanking because from a business perspective, the losing teams need to sell their teams to their fans somehow. It provides some sort of hope. And with the one and done rule, he said you should have the NBA raise their age limit to 21, sort of do it the same as football for that sense. But for baseball, it's kind of the same where you can go right to the league out of high school. And then it further incorporates the NBA DL. And if you commit to college, you're there for at least 3 seasons. So first of all, I'll leave you with these 2 questions. A, is there a way to fix tanking? And B, do you like the idea of these one-and-done players being able to go to the NBA DL, sort of have a minor league system for basketball, and that way it allows the kids who want to go to college and go to school and stay for about 3 years that they can stick around for a little bit?
Yeah, there's solutions to everything. I was at Sloan Conference this past weekend, and they laid out a bunch of different things. The rotating draft it would solve the tanking. Yeah. Everybody gets the number 1 pick once every 30 years, and it rotates.
That was really
through.
Interesting. I like that.
And it seems like with a little tweaking, whatever they need to do, they get that in order shortly, and that would be great. So that should solve tanking at the very least. None of the other ideas I like very much for that. Certainly I think not everybody is made for college. So I feel like you should just go to the D League if you don't want to have to go to college, and that's where that could be the way station for you. You can make some money, you can get some good experience and learn. I don't know why that's not been more of a conduit for high school seniors who clearly aren't going to excel in college, nor should they have to. That said, if they did do the 21 and under or an over rule, and it did capture more of those kids into the college ranks, I think college basketball needs it. In my opinion, they're on their way to losing their status as a very popular sport.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you need elite level talent to make college basketball interesting. You're always going to have the diehard fans that'll support their school regardless of the situation. Even if they have a crappy team, they'll still go to every game. But I mean, we saw some championship games and some Final Fours, some really bad offense in college basketball, and the 35-second shot clock. Just it's not as fun to watch when you're watching the best play at 24-second shot clock and really watching something special. The other point I'll make on this really quick is that even if guys want to go that are one and done players want to go to the NBA DL, you're going to have situations with boosters as you have in every school where someone's going to be paying kids under the table. They'll stick around for 3 years. They'll get the college experience. They'll be the big men on campus for 3 years, and they'll still get paid. I don't know if there's necessarily a way to fix it. Final thought here on the starting five. He's Coach Nick. I'm Ben. We're looking ahead to free agency a little bit because, why not? Chuck Myron of Hoops Rumors recently released his power rankings of the top 10 free agents. LeBron, Carmelo, Bosh, 1, 2, 3 on that list. But here's where the debate begins, because he put Eric Bledsoe at 4, Greg Monroe at 5, and Luol Deng at number 6, and then Lance Stevenson at number 7. So again, two-part question for you, Coach. The first is, which guy from the top 3, LeBron, Carmelo, and Bosh, is most likely to leave his team? And with Bledsoe's injuries, do you have him as the next highest-rated player?
It's a great question. As far as the top 3, LeBron's not going anywhere, okay? He's not going to leave the lifestyle. He's not going to leave that team. They're good. They're going to win. They'll probably get to the finals. He's not going to leave. Carmelo is the one guy who I think is already gone. I think he is leaving. Now, the only problem he has is the wife and where she wants to live. It seems like that's a real big, consideration for him. So that leaves out a lot of small market teams, I think, because I think she's got her whole career thing. But I think he's gone, and I don't blame him. I just think it's a mess there, and I would get out of there if I were him. Bledsoe's knee is a big issue. Now, we've seen people come back from meniscus removal and in the short term do well. Yes. Later on in their careers, I think by the time he's 30, he's probably going to be pretty much done as an effective player. It's a real iffy for me right now that if he's going to be that fourth guy, just because we have to see if he recovers. Love him, great game. He better not leave. He better stay in Phoenix and stay with that team because that's a great team going forward. Luol Deng is a guy who's probably going to get paid too much, however you want to look at where he's ranked. And then Lance Stevenson, the same. I think he's in a good situation now. I'm not a huge fan. I didn't think he should have been an all-star this year like other people were arguing. So, it's a real interesting look. So Bledsoe is a real iffy four to me. I would probably end up putting Greg Monroe higher than him.
I thought about that too, just because of Monroe's consistency. And I think consistency in the NBA means something. You need to be able to be healthy. You need to be productive. Monroe's been that. Yeah, I agree. I think Carmelo is on his way out. There was a lot of talk that if the Knicks clear up their salary cap situation, and it makes you just almost appreciate what Donnie Walsh did. Donnie Walsh cleared up a lot of room, and then they've basically gone and screwed it all up again. I thought Bosh might be a possibility of leaving if they feel like he's going to be worth too much money. But I think they're happy with him there. I think they like the role that he's provided. He's had a pretty nice season so far as well. So, yeah, I think we're pretty much in agreement there. So we'll end with no controversy on this week's starting five. We will be back again doing it very soon. And, Coach, sooner or later, the playoffs are going to be creeping up on us, and we'll have to do a little bit more shows.
Yeah, keep your eye on Memphis. I think they're going to make that in that last push for that 8th spot.
That should be fun. He's Coach Nick. I'm Ben. It's the starting five. We'll see you again soon.